The morning sun painted the mountains of Colorado with golden light as Alan Foster tied his boots in the barracks. It was day 93 at the United Earth Defense Academy, and still he wondered if he belonged here. All around him, other cadets rushed to prepare for morning drills. Some were former athletes, some were science geniuses, and then there was Alan, just a farm boy from Ohio who looked at the stars too much. 5 minutes until formation, shouted a voice from the hallway. Alan grabbed his blue uniform jacket and hurried out. In the hallway, he nearly collided with Lisa Grayson, who was checking something on her tablet while walking. "Sorry," he mumbled. Lisa looked up. Her short brown hair was perfectly regulation length, and she wore her uniform like she had been born in it. "No problem. Ready for the Corvin simulation today?" Alan sighed. "Another day fighting made-up aliens. Can't wait." They walked together toward the training grounds. The academy sat nestled between mountains hidden from civilian eyes. Its buildings were gray and practical, designed to train the best space cadets humanity could offer. "They're not made up," said a deep voice behind them. Dwayne Mitchell caught up with them, his tall frame making him stand out among the other cadets. "Commander Winters takes the Corvin scenarios very seriously." "But why?" Alan asked. 15 years of space exploration and we've found nothing but bacteria on Mars and simple worms on Europa. No aliens with ships and weapons." Lisa shrugged. "Better safe than sorry, I guess." The 3 cadets joined the formation on the main field. 120 young men and women stood in perfect lines as Commander Olivia Winters walked onto the platform. She was not tall, but something about her made everyone stand straighter. "Today's training will test everything you've learned so far," she said, her voice carrying across the field without needing a microphone. "Team assignments are on your tablets. Report to your simulation pods in 15 minutes. Alan checked his tablet and smiled. He, Lisa, and Dwayne were assigned to Team Blue. They worked well together, Alan with his quick thinking, Lisa with her scientific knowledge, and Dwayne with his natural leadership. The simulation pods were large rooms with projection technology that created realistic environments. Team Blue entered their pod and found themselves in what looked like the bridge of a spacecraft. "Standard rescue mission," Dwayne read from the briefing. "We respond to a distress call, board the damaged station, find survivors, and get out." Lisa went to the pilot station. "Simple enough. Let's hope the Corvin don't show up." But of course they would. That was how these simulations always went. The fictional Corvin aliens had become a regular part of their training. 6-limbed creatures with hard exoskeletons and advanced technology, always presented as enemies to overcome. As the simulation began, they piloted their virtual ship toward a space station showing damage signs. Everything went smoothly until they docked. "Life support failing in sections 3 through 7, Lisa reported. "We need to move fast." They entered the station in their spacesuits. The simulation was detailed, flickering lights, air hissing. From small breaches, floating objects in zero gravity. "I've got movement ahead," Dwayne said, checking his scanner. Around the corner came the first Corvin. The alien moved with insect-like precision, weapon raised. Alan reacted first, firing his training weapon. The simulation showed the alien falling back. "One down," he said. "But there will be more." They worked their way through the station, finding human survivors and fighting off Corvin attackers. The aliens used tactics that seemed to become more complex with each simulation. "Have you noticed they learn from our previous sessions?" Lisa whispered as they hid from a Corvin patrol. "It's like they remember what worked against us before." Alan had noticed. It made the training unusually hard, almost like fighting a real enemy that adapted. They reached the central hub of the station where 5 survivors waited. As Team Blue prepared to escort them back, the station rocked with an explosion. "New scenario," came Commander Winters' voice over the comm. "Station will break apart in 10 minutes. Get the survivors out now." With the clock ticking, they fought their way back through new waves of Corvin. These ones used different weapons, stun fields that could immobilize a human without killing them. Why would they want to capture rather than kill? Dwayne wondered as they narrowly avoided a stun field. Back at their ship, They loaded the survivors just as the station began breaking apart. Lisa piloted them away with seconds to spare. The simulation ended with a green mission successful floating in the air. Commander Winters entered the pod. Better time than last week. Mitchell, good decision to use the maintenance tunnels. Foster, you need to be more careful with ammunition management. Grayson, excellent piloting under pressure. After she left, the three sat on the floor, tired from the intense simulation. I still don't get why we spend so much time fighting these Corvin, Alan said. We should be training for real problems, meteors, equipment failures, human conflicts. Not some war with aliens we've never met. Dwayne shrugged his broad shoulders. Orders are orders, but yeah, seems excessive. Lisa was quiet, her face thoughtful. Finally, she said, what if they know something we don't? What if Corvin aren't made up? Alan laughed. Right. The government found aliens and decided to tell only the Academy. That night in the barracks, Alan couldn't sleep. Tomorrow was their final training exercise, a real space mission to the Academy's orbital station. No simulations, just real space. He looked out the window at the stars. Despite his complaints about the Corvin training, he couldn't deny the excitement he felt. Soon he would be up there, among those distant lights. Just a routine training mission, he whispered to himself. What could possibly go wrong? In orbit, above Earth, undetected by human sensors, a massive ship emerged from faster-than-light travel. Inside, 6-limbed beings moved with purpose, preparing smaller craft for launch. The ship's commander studied the images of Earth on the main screen. Their long observation was over. The time for contact had come. Their intelligence suggested humans were dangerous creatures from a death world, warriors to be feared. The commander only hoped surrender would be enough to spare his people from humanity's wrath. He gave the order to approach. By tomorrow, everything would change. The next morning came too quickly. Alan woke to the sound of excited voices in the hallway. Today was the day. Their first real mission into space. Not a simulation, but actual time aboard the Academy's orbital station. He joined the crowd heading to breakfast. The cafeteria buzzed with energy as cadets discussed the day ahead. Alan spotted Lisa and Dwayne at their usual table. Ready for space? Dwayne asked, sliding over to make room. Alan nodded, too nervous to speak at first. After months of training, the moment was finally here. Team Blue reports to Launch Pad 3 at Aero 900, Lisa said, checking her tablet. We get 2 hours on the station for basic maintenance tasks. It wasn't glamorous work, but it was real space experience. Alan finished his breakfast quickly, eager to begin. At the appointed time, Team Blue gathered at the launch site. They wore the blue jumpsuits that would go under their spacesuits. Commander Winters stood by the shuttle door, checking off names. This is a simple mission, she reminded them. Follow protocols exactly as trained. No improvising. The 3 cadets nodded. They entered the shuttle and began pre-flight checks. Lisa took the pilot's seat with Dwayne as co-pilot. Alan handled communications. Launch control, this is Team Blue, ready for departure, Alan said into his headset. Team Blue, you are cleared. For launch, came the reply. The engines hummed to life. Lisa's fingers moved confidently over the controls. The shuttle lifted smoothly from the pad, climbing through blue sky toward the blackness above. Alan watched through the window as Earth fell away beneath them. No simulation could capture this feeling. The real pull of acceleration, the breathtaking view of his home planet. First stage separation complete, Dwayne announced. On course for orbital station. The Academy's orbital station grew larger. In their view, a wheel-shaped structure that rotated slowly to create artificial gravity. Their mission was to deliver supplies and perform routine checks on the life support systems. Lisa guided the shuttle toward the docking port with practiced ease. Just as they approached, the instruments on the control panel began flashing. That's weird, Lisa said, frowning at the readings. I'm getting strange gravitational measurements. Dwayne checked his own screen. Confirmed. Something's causing space-time distortion near us. Alan felt a chill. This wasn't part of the mission. Should we contact control? Before anyone could answer, a flash of light filled the cabin. The shuttle rocked violently, throwing them against their restraints. What was that? Dwayne shouted. Lisa struggled with the controls. Unknown, but we're still on course. Alan looked out the window and froze. In the darkness of space, where nothing should be, a massive shape had appeared. It was a ship, larger than anything humans had built, with a sleek alien design. Control, Team Blue, Alan said into his comm, trying to keep his voice steady. We have an unidentified vessel in orbit, requesting instructions. Static filled the channel, then Admiral Pearson's voice came through. Team Blue, this is not a drill. Repeat, this is not a drill. Unknown vessel has appeared in orbit. Maintain your course to the station, but stand by for further orders. The three cadets stared at each other in disbelief. First contact with alien life was happening, right now during their training mission. Look, Dwayne pointed out the window. Smaller craft were launching from the alien vessel. They moved with incredible speed toward the orbital station. They're going to reach the station before us, Lisa said. The radio crackled again. This time it was Commander Winters. Team Blue, your mission has changed. Proceed to the station, but do not attempt to dock. Observe and report only. Military response is on the way. Lisa adjusted their course to circle the station at a safe distance. Through the windows, they could see the alien craft attaching to various points around the station. I can't believe this is happening, Alan whispered. Dwayne pulled out a camera and began recording. No one would believe it without proof. The aliens emerged from their craft, moving across the station's outer hull with surprising speed. In their spacesuits, they looked exactly like the Corvin from the simulations. 6 limbs, segmented bodies, sleek helmets covering what they assumed were insect-like heads. This is impossible, Lisa said. They're identical to the training scenarios. How could the Academy know? The comm system activated again. Team Blue, this is Commander Winters. The situation has changed. The station's crew is reporting the aliens have entered the facility. We need eyes inside. Inside? Alan repeated. But you said observe only. New orders from Admiral Pearson. You're authorized to dock at Emergency Port 5 and enter the station, through the maintenance tunnels. Your training has prepared you for this. The 3 cadets exchanged glances. Now they understood why the Academy had drilled them so thoroughly on Corvin scenarios. Roger that, Dwayne replied, moving to Emergency Port 5. Lisa guided the shuttle around to the rarely used emergency dock on the station's underside. They landed with barely a bump. Suit up, Dwayne said, opening the locker that held their space gear. The suits were heavier than the training versions, real equipment designed for actual spacewalks. They helped each other check seals and oxygen levels. Remember your training, Lisa said quietly. Just like the simulations. But they all knew this was different. This was real. Real aliens had come to Earth, and somehow they were exactly like the enemies they'd been practicing against for months. They entered the airlock and cycled through. When the inner door opened, they found themselves in a dimly lit maintenance tunnel. Emergency lights cast red shadows on the walls. Which way to central control? Alan asked. Dwayne consulted the station schematic on his wrist display. Left, then 2 levels up. They moved cautiously through the tunnels, listening for any sound that might indicate alien presence. The station seemed eerily quiet except for occasional announcements over the PA system instructing crew to remain in secure areas. As they approached a junction, Alan held up his hand for them to stop. Voices echoed from around the corner, not human voices but a series of clicks and hums. The 3 cadets pressed against the wall, weapons ready. This was the moment their training would be put to the real test. They were about to face actual aliens, creatures from another world who had technology advanced enough to cross the stars. On my mark, Dwayne whispered, raising 3 fingers and counting down. As his last finger dropped, they rounded the corner, ready to confront the Corvin invaders. The 3 cadets moved around the corner with their weapons raised. But instead of finding aliens, they saw only an empty hallway. The strange sounds continued from somewhere farther ahead. "They must be in the next section," Dwayne whispered. Alan checked the small screen on his wrist. According to the station map, that leads to the communications hub. They moved forward carefully, following the alien voices. At the end of the hallway, a door stood half open. Lisa peered through the gap and quickly pulled back. "Two of them inside," she whispered. "They're doing something to the communication equipment." Dwayne took a quick look. "They're not destroying it. Looks more like they're connecting something to it." Alan remembered their training. In the simulations, the Corvin always tried to take over systems rather than destroy them. It seemed the real aliens followed the same pattern. "We need to get closer to hear what they're saying," Alan said. "Maybe the translator will work." Each of their suits contained a universal translator, designed to analyze unknown languages and find patterns. It was experimental technology, never used on actual alien speech before today. The cadets crawled along the floor to a ventilation duct that entered the communications room. Through the grate, they could see the aliens clearly for the first time. Just like in their training, the Corvin Neos had 6 limbs, 4 arms, and 2 legs. Their bodies were covered in a hard, shiny material that looked like a mix of armor and skin. Their heads had large compound eyes that caught the light oddly. The aliens moved quickly around the room, connecting devices to the human equipment. They spoke to each other in series of clicks and humming sounds. Lisa activated her translator. After a few moments, broken words began to come through her helmet speaker. "Secure the humans. Dangerous. Command. Waiting." The translator struggled with the alien language, but some words came through clearly enough. "They keep saying dangerous when talking about humans," Lisa whispered. One of the aliens suddenly stiffened and turned toward the vent. The cadets froze. Had it heard them? The alien moved closer to the vent, its large eyes scanning the area. Alan held his breath. The alien was so close he could see the complex patterns in its eyes. After what felt like forever, the alien turned away and went back to work. "That was close," Dwayne whispered. "We should move to the central hub. We might learn more there." They backed away from the vent and continued through the maintenance tunnels. As they moved deeper into the station, they saw signs of the alien presence everywhere. Strange devices attached to walls, markings on doors, and occasionally groups of aliens moving through hallways. "Have you noticed something weird?" Alan asked as they paused at a junction. "They're not hurting anyone." Lisa nodded. "I've been thinking the same thing. When they find human crew members, they just contain them. No violence." "That doesn't match our training," Dwayne said. "In the simulations, the Corvin were always aggressive. They reached a maintenance shaft that overlooked the central hub of the station. Through the grate, they could see the largest gathering of aliens yet. At least 20 of the creatures moved around the room, working on equipment. In the center, several human crew members sat in a group, watched by aliens but otherwise unharmed. Lisa activated her translator again as 2 aliens who seemed to be leaders spoke to each other. "Perimeter secure. Waiting for diplomatic human warriors." The translation was still broken, but one phrase came through clearly. "Deathworlders." "Deathworlders?" Alan repeated quietly. "Are they talking about us? About humans?" Dwayne looked troubled. In xenobiology class, they talked about how different worlds might produce different types of life. A death world would be a planet with extreme conditions that shaped very tough species. "Earth isn't that extreme," Lisa said. "It is if you compare it to some possible alien homeworlds," Dwayne replied. "Our gravity, radiation levels, temperature swings, predators. Maybe to them, we're the scary ones." As they watched, a new alien entered the hub. This one wore different markings on its armor and moved with authority. The others seemed to defer to it. The leader alien approached the human crew members and activated a device. A mechanical voice spoke in clear English. "We await your military leaders. We will comply with surrender terms." The human station commander looked confused. "Surrender? You're surrendering to us?" The alien made a gesture that could have been surprise. We are prepared to negotiate terms that will spare our people. Your warriors have trained specifically to defeat us. We know of your combat simulations. Alan, Lisa and Dwayne looked at each other in shock. The aliens thought humans were preparing to attack them. They've been watching us, Lisa whispered. They saw our training simulations and thought we were practicing for war. We need to talk to them, Alan said suddenly. This is a huge misunderstanding. Dwayne shook his head. Our orders are to observe and report, not make contact. But they're terrified of us, Alan insisted. Look at them. They're not invaders. They're here to surrender before we attack them. Lisa looked between her two teammates, torn between following orders and preventing a potentially disastrous misunderstanding. Just then, their comm units crackled to life. Team Blue, this is Admiral Pearson. Military response is 30 minutes. Out. Continue observation and report any changes. The three cadets faced a difficult choice. Wait for the military to arrive, potentially escalating the situation, or risk everything by making unauthorized first contact. I think we should talk to them, Lisa said finally. If they're here to surrender, sending in armed forces might scare them into fighting. Agreed, Alan said. Our training was about how to fight them, but maybe what we need is how to understand them. Dwayne sighed heavily. This goes against direct orders. But I think you're right. How do we approach them without getting shot? Lisa thought for a moment. We use their own expectations. They think we're dangerous warriors. Let's not disappoint them. She began removing the outer layer of her spacesuit, revealing the blue uniform underneath. We present ourselves officially as representatives of humanity. No weapons, but with confidence. Alan and Dwayne followed her lead. When they were ready, Dwayne spoke. Let's make history. First official contact with alien life. They left the safety of the maintenance tunnels and approached the entrance to the central hub. The moment had come to face the aliens who had surrendered to human cadets. The door to the central hub slid open. Every alien in the room turned at once, their compound eyes fixing on the three human cadets. The room went completely silent. Stay calm, Dwayne whispered to his teammates. Walk slowly. They entered with measured steps, keeping their hands visible. The aliens moved back, creating a path toward the center where their leader stood. Some of the aliens raised devices that might have been weapons. The human station crew looked at the cadets with surprise and confusion. The station commander, a middle-aged man with a gray beard, shook his head slightly, as if warning them away. The alien leader stepped forward. Up close, it was taller than a human, standing nearly 7 feet high. Its forearms were positioned differently. 2 held close to its body, 2 extended slightly. The translator device hummed as it processed the alien's speech. Young warriors, approach, the mechanical voice said. We recognize your training colors. Lisa took a deep breath and spoke clearly. We are cadets from the Earth Defense Academy. We come in peace to speak with you. The alien made a clicking sound that the translator didn't convert. Then it spoke again. You are students, not full warriors? Alan nodded. Yes. We are still learning. We were on a training mission when you arrived. The alien leader's posture changed subtly. It turned to confer with others nearby, their quick language flowing too fast for the translator to catch. When it turned back, the alien seemed less tense. This is unexpected. We prepared to face your military leaders. Dwayne stepped forward. They are coming, but we believe there has been a misunderstanding. You said you were surrendering. Why? We have never threatened your people. The alien leader's 4 hands made complex gestures as it spoke. For many cycles, we have observed your world. We have seen your warriors training specifically to combat our kind. Your broadcasts show stories of alien conquest. Your history is filled with war. You endure conditions that would kill most sentient species. You are Deathworlders, the most dangerous type of intelligent life. The 3 cadets exchanged glances. Lisa spoke next. Those training scenarios, fighting against beings like you, We thought they were fictional. We didn't know you were real, the station commander interrupted. Cadet Grayson, you are violating direct orders by engaging with the aliens. Lisa turned to him. Sir, with respect, they're here because they're scared of us. They're not invading. They're surrendering before we can attack them. The commander looked stunned. He faced the alien leader. Is this true? You came here to surrender? The alien made what might have been a nod. We detected your increased space activity. We intercepted signals from your military training facility. We saw simulations of combat against our species. The logical conclusion was that you had discovered our existence and were preparing for war. We chose to offer peaceful surrender rather than face extinction. Alan stepped closer. But we've never left our solar system. How could we have discovered you? One of your primitive space vessels passed near our monitoring station in your outer system. It transmitted images back to your world. Shortly after, your military began training against our kind. The conclusion seemed obvious. The commander's face showed sudden understanding. The Galileo mission to the Kuiper Belt. 6 years ago, it sent back images of... He stopped, looking at the alien with new eyes. You've been watching us for that long? Longer, the alien replied. Your world is of great interest to xenobiologists. Your species has survived conditions that would destroy most life. You consume substances that would poison others. Your physical abilities exceed most known species. Dwayne couldn't help but smile. So you're not here to invade Earth. We came to prevent you from invading us. Lisa walked in a small circle thinking. Our training simulations made you think we were preparing for war, but they were just exercises based on fictional scenarios. The alien leader made a sound that might have been disbelief. Your military created training scenarios against our exact species by coincidence? The commander cleared his throat. Not exactly. After the Galileo mission, certain images were classified. The Defense Council authorized the creation of training protocols based on potential contact scenarios. The 3 cadets stared at him. Alan spoke slowly. You knew. The Academy knew aliens were real. We suspected, the commander corrected. There was debate about what the Galileo images showed. As a precaution, training scenarios were developed. The alien leader's posture changed again. Then our assessment was partially correct. You were preparing for potential conflict. Defensive. Preparations only, the commander insisted. Standard protocol for any first contact scenario. Just then the station's communication system activated. Admiral Pearson's voice filled the room. Orbital Station, this is Earth Defense Force. Our vessels will reach your position in 10 minutes. Report status. The commander moved to respond, but Dwayne stepped forward. Sir, please, this is first contact. We need to make sure it's peaceful. The commander hesitated, then nodded. He activated the communication system. Admiral, this is Commander Clark. The situation is stable. The alien presence is non-hostile. I repeat, non-hostile. Request that approaching forces maintain distance until further notice. There was a pause before the Admiral responded. Understood, but I'm getting reports of unauthorized contact by Team Blue. Is this correct? The commander looked at the 3 cadets. After a moment, he smiled slightly. Team Blue acted on initiative to prevent potential conflict. Their actions have been helpful. Another pause. We'll discuss their actions later. Maintain position. Pearson out. The alien leader watched this exchange with interest. Your military leaders will not attack? No, Lisa assured it. We want peaceful contact, just as you do. The alien made a gesture with its upper arms. Then perhaps this mistake will lead to something positive. Our peoples can learn from each other. The tension in the room began to ease. The aliens lowered their devices. The human crew members relaxed visibly. Alan looked around at the strange scene, humans and aliens standing together in an orbital station, both sides having feared the other unnecessarily. He smiled at the thought of what might come next. I have a question, he said to the alien leader. What do you call yourselves? We've been calling you Corvin in our training, but that's just a name we made up. The alien's translator processed. Its response. We are the Mithran Collective, and you are the first humans we have spoken with directly. Lisa extended her hand slowly, remembering her xenobiology classes about first contact protocols. On behalf of humanity, we welcome peaceful contact with the Mithran Collective. The alien observed her hand, then carefully extended one of its own. The two species touched for the first time. It seems, the Mithran leader said, that sending students rather than warriors was the wisest approach after all. 1 week later, the academy grounds buzzed with activity. News crews from around the world had camped outside the gates. Inside, officials from every major nation gathered in the main hall. The first official meeting between Earth's leaders and representatives of the Mithran Collective was about to begin. Alan adjusted his dress uniform nervously. Next to him, Lisa and Dwayne looked equally uncomfortable in their formal attire. They stood near the back of the room, watching as important people filed in. I still can't believe we're here, Alan whispered. A week ago we were just cadets worried about passing our final exercise. Lisa nodded. And now we're part of the first human-alien diplomatic meeting. Admiral Pearson approached them, his face serious as usual, but with a hint of pride in his eyes. Team Blue, how are you holding up? Fine, sir, Dwayne replied, just a little overwhelmed. Understandable. You three made history. First humans to communicate directly with an alien species. The Admiral straightened Dwayne's collar. The President wants to meet you after the ceremony. Alan swallowed hard. The past week had been a whirlwind. After their impromptu first contact on the station, they'd been rushed back to Earth for endless debriefings. Security agents questioned them for hours about every detail of their interaction with the Mithrans. Scientists wanted to know about alien biology and technology. Linguists analyzed every recorded word from the translator. The doors at the far end of the hall opened. The Mithran delegation entered, led by the same leader the cadets had met on the station. 6 aliens walked with careful steps, their compound eyes taking in the room full of humans. Many people gasped or whispered at their first sight of real extraterrestrials. The President stood to greet them. On behalf of humanity, I welcome the representatives of the Mithran Collective to Earth. The Mithran leader activated its translator. We thank you for this peaceful welcome. 1 week ago, we feared war between our peoples. Today, we hope for friendship. The formal greetings continued as the aliens were seated at the large table. Documents were brought forward. The first draft of a treaty between Earth and the Mithran Collective. From the back of the room, Lisa whispered to her friends. They're signing a non-aggression pact. Both sides promise not to attack the other. Smart. First step, Dwayne replied. Build trust before anything else. After the formal signing, the President spoke again. This historic moment might never have happened without the quick thinking of 3 young cadets. Their choice to reach out peacefully changed the course of first contact. Would Team Blue please come forward? Alan felt his heart race as they walked toward the front of the room. Every eye, human and alien, turned to watch them. The President gestured to them. Alan Foster, Lisa Grayson, and Dwayne Mitchell. When faced with an unprecedented situation, you chose peace over conflict, understanding over fear. Your actions represent the best of humanity. The Mithran leader stepped forward. These young humans approached us without weapons, offering communication, when their training prepared them for combat. We will remember their courage. Alan felt his face grow warm with embarrassment. They hadn't been trying to be heroes. They'd just done what seemed right at the time. The ceremony continued with more speeches and formal photographs. Eventually, the official part ended, and people began to mingle. The 3 cadets found themselves surrounded by important officials asking questions about their experience. Later, as the crowd thinned, Commander Winters approached them. Her usual stern expression had softened. I should reprimand you all for disobeying direct orders, she said. Then she smiled. But it's hard to argue with the results. You did well. Thank you, Commander, Lisa replied. But I still have questions. How long has the Academy known about the Mithrans? Commander Winters glanced around before answering quietly. The Galileo mission captured images 6 years ago. They were unclear, just shadows and movement on a distant object. Some officials dismissed it as equipment malfunction. Others believed it was proof of alien intelligence. The training scenarios were created just in case. Why not tell us? Dwayne asked. Why pretend they were fictional? Security concerns, fear of public panic, the usual reasons powerful people keep secrets. She shrugged. I pushed to tell the cadets the truth, but I was overruled. Alan spotted the Mithran leader, moving toward them. He straightened his posture as the alien approached. Cadet Foster, Cadet Grayson, Cadet Mitchell. The translator spoke the alien's words. My name is Telnar, first speaker of the Mithran Collective. It's an honor to meet you officially, first speaker, Lisa said. Telnar's upper arms made a gesture they now knew was a sign of respect. I wish to explain something to you. For many cycles, we observed your world with great interest and growing concern. Your species survived conditions that would kill most intelligent life. Your gravity is crushing by our standards. Your radiation levels are lethal to many species. You consume substances that would poison others. So we really are Deathworlders, Alan said with a small smile. Indeed, but we failed to understand something important about Deathworlders. The same strength that makes you dangerous also makes you resilient. The same adaptability that helps you survive harsh conditions helps you adapt to new ideas. We feared your warrior nature, but we did not see your capacity for peace. Dwayne nodded thoughtfully. I guess every strength can be used in different ways. Precisely, Telnar said. And now I bring news. The collective wishes to establish an exchange program. We would send our scientists to learn from humans, and we invite human representatives to visit our worlds. Commander Winters smiled. What an opportunity. Indeed. And we specifically request these 3 young humans as part of the first exchange group. They have proven their ability to bridge our differences. The 3 cadets looked at each other in amazement. From training simulations to actual space travel beyond the solar system, it was beyond anything they had imagined. We would be honored, Lisa said, speaking for all of them. Later that evening, the 3 friends stood on the roof of the academy looking up at the stars. Somewhere out there were the worlds of the Mithran Collective, places no human had ever seen. Everything's going to change now, Alan said. The whole universe just got bigger. Dwayne nodded. And to think it all started with a training mission. Lisa smiled. It was just training, until aliens surrendered to human cadets. Above them, the stars seemed brighter than before, no longer distant points of light, but doorways to new worlds waiting to be explored.